Afternoon Express. I'm Palesa, and we've got an entertaining edition for you today as we're joined by the dynamic gospel artist Palesa and my very own presenter search on 3 brother, the dashing, the daring, courageous, but also caring Ryle Rene De Morny from Expresso. Which brings me to our first guest. Welcome to the show.
What an intro. Wow, Pali, thank you so much. It's been so long since I've seen you. Wow.
It has been, you know, from 2020, COVID, restrictions. Yeah. It's very, amazing for me to touch base with you. And that just brings me to my very first question. I mean, we fell in love with you. We got to know each other through Presenter Search on 3 in 2018.
Yes.
And then you gracefully made your way onto the top billing stage. But now you're on a live television platform.
Yeah.
5 days a week. How is that for you? How's the transition and how are you owning your space within the Expresso?
Yeah, I mean, geez, nostalgia, firstly, taking it back to us slaving away, trying to get to where we are now and what a year it's been. But such a very interesting transition. I mean, pre-recorded shows like Top Billing, it's all about the glitz, the glam.
Yeah.
When you're shooting, practically, you literally have to shoot perfectly. There's no plugs in the Top Billing world. So you do retake after retake and you have to recreate these beautiful live moments.
Yeah.
Take after take after take. So it's very draining. It's a long day of shooting, but you do have that cushion of knowing that if you do mess up, you can do another take.
Take 2.
And then all of a sudden live is all of that jam-packed into a very short amount of hours and there's not real room for error. So I think when it comes to nerves, there's a lot more of that on the live show now coming over to Top Billing. And I remember my first day seeing the schedule and script and pre-records, I know you know from being in the presenter search and stuff, you have to memorize everything almost off by heart.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this 3-hour show with this big script and I'm like, how? And I was just in studio this nervous wreck, trying to go over my lines, and I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm in presenter search again. It was so warming.
That's so weird for me to hear because the confidence, the kind of calm energy that you exude daily on Expresso just speaks volumes. So little did I know that behind the scenes, homeboy is like, what's going on?
But look, you're bringing up such a valuable point, and I have to mention this, and I think it's something that has allowed us to flourish, and a lot of other people that do is, I learned in presenter search that I can't just know it all. I can't remember everything off by heart, but what I can do is be present in this moment and be real and be me.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only way Mzansi can relate to you, and that's why they start to love you, because I'm not trying to lie. I'm just trying to be me, and that's all I can passionately give. And I think you're forced to do that in those moments of chaos and intensity where you're just I can't remember. Let me just kick it back and just be me.
Just be Ryle.
Yeah, and I think that's what's maybe coming through.
Now, what's interesting for me, Ryle, so you've gotten into a space that needs you just to be Ryle. But another transition that you did in 2020 is not being you. You took up acting, homie.
Yeah.
So it's so much so that your first role ended up being a smash hit. So how is that for you? How are you finding it? And will we see more Ryle acting?
Definitely, you better see more of me, and you will see more of me. But before I get to that, I think I got to touch on the journey again. It was so overwhelming for me. I was still working Top Billing at the time, long days and juggling. I didn't even know the show was going to be this big. I got reached out on Instagram and was like, do you want to try out for this role? You seem like a good fit. And I went with it, not knowing what it was going to become and not knowing how big the project actually was. And the amount of juggling that had to go on in that stage alone was just overwhelming, to say the least. But at the same time, I think it's whenever we as human beings throw ourselves in these crazy, intense situations. Yeah. Take this year, for example. That's when you really truly realize who you are, what you're actually made of, and what you're capable of. And I think I've had such a blessing to be thrown in these spaces like the intensity of presenter search, being on these live shows, to really make you understand, grow, and learn what you are capable of. And it was such a daunting experience. I mean, I could tell stories for days on the space it put me in, but so grateful for what has come from it, and the fact that I could get through that and a year like this is just such a testament.
I think that, Ryle, you wear so many hats, and I have to take my hat off, my wig off to you, because you're so incredible. But do not move a muscle, because we got a bit of a challenge coming up. So much so, let me tell South Africa about it, actually. Mzansi, later on, Ryle and I will be challenging each other to see who can go the longest without drinking water or drinking milk, as we embark on our first ever Afternoon Express Spicy Noodle Challenge. You keen?
Spice. Ooh, I don't know, girl.
I'm very excited about that. Now, Mzansi on social media as well. You know I'm decked out in a guest dress today. So I want to find out from you, what is your festive season outfit? Do you have one? Join the conversation online. But a few weeks ago, I sat down with this gospel artist called Palesa. So we'll be showing the Mzansi viewers all of that coming up.